What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of That Scuffed Up, episode 31, starting off the right way here tonight on this Sunday evening as we were recording this. Myself, Justin Lee, Stephen Hayden, our co-host for today. Stephen, how are we feeling about this week?
We're good. It's been a little more relaxing. Not as much wiffle ball-wise stuff going on in the world. Things are kind of slowing down until we get to the end of the year time. The baseball-wise things are starting to kick up. Had a couple fall games in there so far. Getting ready and closer to the season. Other than that, we're doing good. We're doing good around here overall. We're continuing to be out there every Tuesday night, and things are looking good.
Certainly so. We got more games that were coming up here. Obviously, we've had some changes to the schedule as well. If you haven't been following some of those email-wise, the golf tournament is still up there. If you guys are still interested in that thing as well, that's still up there. If you guys want to check that out, obviously, we're going to be playing at Strawberry Fields once again for this winter golf tournament. So that's also new. And then also we have to talk about our main program of the week, which is our Week 3 breakdown. So a lot of good results out here. More interdivisional play as we talk about this one. So why don't we get right into it without no pause at all. We've got Whoosh taking on the Trash Pandas. This is the first interdivisional game of the day. Between a very high-powered team in the Trash Pandas versus the high-powered team of Division 2, which is Whoosh, who also were participants in the World Series for Division 2 last season. This one, actually, we thought was going to be somewhat pretty close, considering Whoosh has got a very big team of players. But the latter is exactly what happened. 17-8 was the final score. Trash Pandas moving on with a win to add to their column.
Moving on, like advancing the playoffs. This game actually was very close. The score doesn't do it justice. I believe it was a 9-8 ball game. Trash Pandas were up, and then they proceeded to score 8 runs in like the 5th inning or so. And Whoosh were down a couple guys. They started off with 3 in this game, then eventually Donald Compt came in late. Actually, I was worried Whoosh wasn't going to be there at all, given the fact by like 6:30 none of them were there yet. So a little bit stressful for them, but they were able to come out and they hung in there with the Trash Pandas, who were ready. They were there ready to go. But the offense continues to pour on for the Trash Pandas. They continue to hit a lot of home runs. They had that one hiccup against the We'll see last week, but right back on track here, getting off to a good start.
Certainly so. That's exactly what they were looking for. But obviously, the other team, Whoosh, fell in this game. But not too many high expectations when you talk about these interdivisional games. But great win for the Trash Pandas. Definitely needed if they want to be in that picture to stay in the playoff picture. Obviously, it's still very early in the season. But a great win for them as well. Our next game does include the Trash Pandas once again. Division 1 plays Shepherd's Pie taking on Trash Pandas. Shepherd's Pie is still looking for some wins on their column. They've been struggling a little bit early in this season. But they fall to the Trash Pandas 9-4 in a fairly close game, if I would say, just judging by the look of that score. But Trash Pandas getting another win on the week in this doubleheader week that they had.
Yeah, 2 games, 2 wins for them. We'll talk more about that and a bunch of other stuff later on with Michael Hascup coming on to the show. It was a great interview with him, when you guys will find out. But with this, Shepherd's Pie have usually been pretty good against Trash Pandas. I know the previous year, I believe they beat them in the last game they played against each other. But from what I'm hearing and what you'll hear in the podcast a little bit, Blake Fitzgerald's just been going off with the bats. Once we do not have the updated stats as of right now. We only have stats through week 2. You don't have to see how people did at week 3. But Blake Fitzgerald is just hitting the life out of the ball right now. And when he's doing that on the plate and when he's doing his thing on the mound, this team's going to go do very good things. They're looking to avenge a World Series loss, and we'll see. And given the start they've had, like I said, it was just 2 innings that they let up some runs, and it makes their run differential look a lot worse. But I think if they've given up 10 runs in 5 games, if you don't count that Louisville C game, so they're off to a hot start. And then for Shepherd's Pie, they're looking for that first win. They've been using more of a 3-pitcher system where they have Nick, Evan, and Anthony pitching. You get different results with that. They've had some pretty close games, but unfortunately for them, they've not been able to come out with a win so far. They do got another game later on, so we'll talk about it later if they're able to get that first win.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a few moments, but before that, we got the Beach City Bombers versus the LA Whiffles of OC game. Obviously, this was our game of the day. Beach City Bombers, who were World Series champs a few seasons ago, obviously. In this game, they're missing Zach Moore this season, so obviously taking on a different look of Beach City Bombers, but nonetheless still have Tyler Moore and a full roster of people on this team in this game. And LOS OC were also down a man in Dustin Staggs, so he was absent. But the score, don't judge it by what it looks like, but 6-0 was the score in this game. It was kind of a bit of a battle in this one between two pretty good aces.
Yeah, LOC down to 4 people, missing Dustin Staggs, but I think the real story and possibly a leading MVP candidate has been Jordan Dressler so far. Off to an extremely hot start, continuing just to find a way on base. Hit a lot of home runs as well. I think he's worked his way up to 7 home runs so far through 3 weeks. Pitching wise, he's improved his stuff even more. LOC are still off to a great start. This is actually a bit of a struggle night for Steven. I think he only went 1 for 5 with a home run, and still without that, LOC were able to get a 6-0 victory. In part because of Steven and Jordan pitching on the mound, 3 innings each, not allowing a single run, and then also the hitting as well. They support the non-stars, the support players, and Justin and Dominic have been stepping up so far for the other Whiffles of OC, getting guys on base and putting runs in. So even if a guy like Steven has an off night, they're able to come out with a victory in these games. But Jordan Drescher off to a very hot start. The Whiffles of OC are hitting. Looking at the stats going into this week, they were hitting stupid good. I think they had an on-base percentage something around like 567 or something like that. But they're off to an extremely hard start. But for Beach City Bombers to hold them to 6 runs is not too shabby at all, given the fact that Louisville OC have won each game by 10 or more runs so far before this week. Maybe Dustin could make that a little bit more of a difference, but it's one of those the game played out the way it played out, and we'll never know.
Yeah, we won't ever know, but we got long season to go, so definitely we'll see some of that matchup once again, obviously with the number of teams that we have and just how the way things will be for the rest of the time being. The next game is we get right back to our fellow buddies over there with the Shepherd's Pie, looking for at least a win this week, in this doubleheader week for them as well, taking on the Avocabros, who are trying to find some wins on that win column sheet, and they do in fact get on the win column with a 7-1 victory over Shepherd's Pie, which Shepherd's Pie had fallen to another loss in this game, unfortunately for this week, a tough one for them, and Avocabros getting that win that they definitely do need if they want to stay in that playoff picture.
Yeah, in this game could mean more as we go on through the rest of the season. In terms of who makes the playoffs, who doesn't make the playoffs. This night was one of the first nights Shepherd's Pie just didn't have the offense going as much. I know Anthony's been extremely hot at the plate the first 2 weeks. Didn't quite have the same production going into tonight, given the fact that they did not score as many runs. But Shepherd's Pie going to have to find it here. They do have 1 win on the record. They did beat Whoosh the previous week in a cross division game. But so far, that's their only win. I believe they still have yet to play a team. But they have yet to play the OC Whiffles of LA, who they played this coming week. But other than that, they've for Shepherd's Pie, and they've lost to every other team in the division so far. So that could not be that could be a bad sign for them. Avocabros, they get their second win of Division 1. They did beat Wiffle D's the previous week. and then they've now beat OC Wolves of LA and Shepherd's Pie. So it'll be big in terms of seeding, for those teams who are looking at the currently at the bottom right now. Although you never know, things can still change. It's a long season, and who knows what's going to happen as we continue on. Maybe teams from the bottom is going to jump all the way to the top. Maybe with some struggles. As unlikely as I see that, as I see a team like the other Wolves will see getting out of that top spot at least for a very long time. You never know what may happen with a team jumping up.
Yeah, just like that storyline with the Trash Pandas a few seasons ago. They were in a slump halfway through the season and managed to get all the way to the playoffs and beating a reigning champ team and getting in there. And a little shameless plug, we got Michael Hascup, obviously, we mentioned, will be on the show later, so stay tuned for that as well. Next final game for the Division 1 as it is. This is an interdivisional game between the new team, the OC Juicers, taking on the OC Wolves of LA. Obviously, they came off of a week where they got a win, and they're looking for just another one in this one. But they rout the OC Juicers in this game, beating them 17-4 in what was a pretty big offensive day for everybody on the OC Wolves of LA.
Yeah, they would get the bats going. It was a good confidence game, especially for the OC Wolves of LA. They did get their first win the previous week in the season and in Division 1 versus Beach City Bombers. They had a comeback with their victory to go beat them. And OC Juicers are still working things out. Some of these guys were with the Pacific Thrashers in the fall season. They're still working things out, and then they have to go face a guy like James Lee. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to face. So, we'll see how these two teams keep advancing throughout the year. OC Wolves of LA moved to 2-3 and look to try to start making a little bit of a playoff push. I mean, we still got more season left, but after this coming week, we're halfway through the season already. So, you don't want to wait around too long to try to make that run.
Yeah, it's a great sign too. Giving the Kuros family people some more playtime to get that confidence going a little bit. Obviously, they were thrusted onto the scene a season ago. Joining first in the league as free agents and joining a Division 1 team, as daunting as that is. And it's a good sign for OC Wiffles of LA, who also picked up Ethan Raffman in the offseason. And they're just looking to become that next dominant team in the league, just like their brethren team in the LA Wolves of OC as well.
We'll see what happens. They certainly have the firepower. James Lee is looking like an MVP candidate so far, building off his Rookie of the Year campaign. But as the season progresses on, we'll see how things work out, whether he's able to maintain that and what help he's going to be able to get in terms of the hitting and also that second pitcher slot as well. But James is off to a good start with 350 average, 552 on base percentage. Again, these are numbers after week 2, so who knows how much those numbers have gone up after playing the OC Juicers and scoring a total of 17 runs. I'm sure there's probably a home run or 2 in there. So, good stuff overall from the OC Wolves. We'll see what happens with this and how they're looking better so far this year than they did in D1 last year. Last year was a little tough for them. They got very unlucky, but we'll see what happens with them.
Certainly so. Well, that concludes Division 1 games for this week, and now we can move into the Division 2 games. Obviously, we touched on some of the Division 2 teams that are playing the Division 1 teams earlier. So we'll start off with the Bad News Dingers and Whoosh game. Obviously, Whoosh, this is the doubleheader week for them, so they have the second game after losing to the Trash Pandas. So they get to see the people in their division, so playing Bad News Dingers. They do get a good win off of this one. 5-1 was the final score against the Bad News Dingers team.
Yeah, they get a good victory here at 725. I know Whoosh just came off that loss versus Trash Pandas. Able to keep the bats going, not as big, but we're able to improve on the pitching and hold the Bad News Dingers to only 1 run in this game. Whoosh are really making a case for being that number 1 team. They're currently the number 1 team in Division 2. They're with a 4-0 record. They are 4-2 with an overall record, but in terms of the tiebreaker, the division record is going to be taken first. Right now, they They sit in first place in that, the only undefeated team in Division in Division two. So we'll see how things keep progressing as we go along here.
Certainly will do. Speaking of the Bad News Dingers, their next game and final Division Two game that we'll talk about is against Wiffle D's. Obviously, the Bad News Dingers, as we just mentioned, coming off of a loss. And yet again, they do come off with a loss and a shutout win for the Wiffle D's team, who walks away 5-0 in the final score of this game.
Yeah, like Bad News Dingers just didn't have the offense tonight. One run combined between two games. They're doing a decent job pitching. You hold the team to 5 runs, it usually gives you a chance, but just unable to get the runs in. Wiffle D's come up here. They lost to the Avocados the previous week. Able to come up here and get a win, move themselves up to second place in Division Two, with a 2-1 division record and a 2-2 overall record. So we'll see as the year keeps progressing on. We'll see how things keep moving along here in Division Two as well. Should be a good race, especially for those top to see who's going to make the playoffs in the World Series.
Yes, sir. We got a couple different groups of teams in there, obviously less of them, so interesting chances for how that playoff picture will end up at the very end of this winter season, the very first winter season of OC Wiffle Ball history as well. Now we can get into the Purple League, who has expanded into more teams, obviously, as you can see from the standings. The first game we've got is the Pancake Batters versus We Got Spice. Pancake Batters coming off of a season from the fall season and coming here against a new team, and We Got Spice, winning this one 8-4 in this first matchup of the Purple League.
Yeah, that they do. Great season, good competition out there. Nice to see some of these games are close. Doesn't have to be high scoring all the time in these games. Just have a close game and usually doing good. So it's good to see a Pancake Batters. They didn't have the greatest season in the fall season, but so far off to a 2-0 start. So, maybe they'll be challenging those Glizzy Gladiators and for that Purple League title. That could be something we see in the future. But Pancake Batters off to a good start especially with that experience from the previous fall season.
Certainly will do. Speaking of which, moving on to the next one, this is the Wiffle Doughs team versus the Glizzy Gladiators. If you know about their YouTube channel, obviously this game was being live streamed on that channel as well. Glizzy Gladiators have taken this one with a W, 14-5, the final score against the Wiffle Doughs, who are another team coming in this season from joining last fall.
Yeah, you should check out if you check out this YouTube live stream if you want to for the Glizzy Gladiators. You can see a very nice sounding man taking the mic for a little bit in your boy himself. Both teams are having a good time out there in this game. Things were looking good as we went on with those teams. Both have some guys who are on other teams as well, so it's good to see some healthy competition there.
It certainly is, and obviously those are some of the people. Obviously, if you haven't checked out Joey Ponder's interview, it's still up there. Go ahead and check that out. We had a great time with him on that episode as well. So the next game we're going to talk about is the Glizzy Gladiators and Beach City Dingers. Beach City Dingers obviously is a team that is part of the Beach City Bombers. Just obviously want to have that chance to have a little bit more fun, taking on the Glizzy Gladiators, the champions of the Purple League World Series season ago. Winning this one 7-3, their second win of the day in this doubleheader week for the Glizzy Gladiators.
Yeah, a fun game. Some of the Beach City Bombers guys play on this team. Obviously, actually most of them play on both teams. Little controversy in this game, but all things worked out in the end. I think Beach City Dingers did have 3 home runs in this game, 3 solo home runs. I think Glizzy Gladiators just able to work their way on and get the runs in when needed. Get a little 7-3 victory. This was actually the game that I had the mic on for a while. I was commentating for a little while with me. Make sure sometimes Joe would be on the sidelines, sometimes Shelby will be on the sidelines. So I know my commentator work. I know how to make things funny, and be able to make fun of others while making fun of myself. So it's just what we do, and it was a pretty good game to do it because I was able to get into Tyler Moore's head.
There you go. Well, there we go. Got the commentating on there. Obviously, you want to check that out. Glizzy Gladiators has got that on their YouTube channel exclusively, and you can check out the amazing Stephen Hayden if you'd like to listen to that commentary.
That's a strong, amazing, but
come on, the back-to-back MVPs. Like, come on, give yourself a little bit of credit.
Well, we're talking about the Purple League. I've never conquered the Purple League.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to make a team in that aspect at some point, then, right?
Yeah, if you can find some females.
Yeah, I don't know too many. So.
I don't know any.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
they're not big fans of me.
Yeah, well, that one's already sinking down to the bottom of the ocean. Anyways, moving on to the final game of the Purple League, Wiffle Doughs taking on the Pancake Batters. Obviously, Pancake Batters coming off of a win against We Got Spice, and Wiffle Doughs coming off of a loss to Glizzy Gladiators. This one was actually a pretty close game. By the looks of it, 5-4 the final score. The Pancake Batters get their second W of the day.
Yeah, very close game here. You know, Wiffle Doughs and Pancake Batters both playing in their second game of the day. Both had different results in their first game, and then obviously they had a different result here. A very close game overall. Good to see. There's some closer competition. You know. Good to see there's another team. There's now 5 teams. Unfortunately, we cannot get the 6th team to be a part of the Purple League, but we do have 5, which is one more than last year. So, last season, I should say. So, we'll see how the Purple League keeps growing and growing if it's able to, and we'll see what happens with this in the future.
Yes, we do. Obviously, you have one extra team that we did last season with the Purple League, so it'll be interesting just to really keep an eye out, and hopefully, we will get those standings and stats and read more of those to you guys next week as we're getting ready here for week 4. So, and that does it for.
Speaking of standings, we can do some standing stuff here as well. You know, for D1, LA Wolves of OC still sit at the top with a 4-0 record. They have not played an outside conference division game yet. Trash Pan is the second, 4-1 record in the division, 5-1 outside of the division. You know, we talked about the game with Whoosh earlier. In third, we got the Avocarbos, 2-2 record, 3-2 in overall record though. They defeated Wiffle Doughs previously. Then next, you got the OC. So you got Beach City Bombers next with a 2-3 record in conference and the division play. I can't want to say conference instead of division. I'm not sure why, but 2-3 record in division play puts them in 4th. 5th place, you got the OC Wiffles of LA, 1-3 record in division, 2-3 overall. And then Shepherd's Pie comes in 6th here. 0-4 record in the division, 1-4 record with as their overall record. So those are your D1 standings. For D2, Whoosh sitting at the top there, 4-0 record in division, 4-2 record in terms of their overall record. They did lose a couple games to D1 teams. Bad news. Wiffle D's are next with the 2-1 record in the division, 2-2 record overall. In third, you got Bad News Dingers, 1-3 overall. Have not played a outside division game yet. But they will this coming week as they take on the LA Wolves of OC. So we'll see how that fares for them. And then in 4th place, you have the OC Juicers at 0-4. So those are your standings. I don't know the purple standings right now. If you give me like 3 minutes, I could figure it out. But yeah, those are your D1 and D2 standings at least.
Alrighty, well, we got our standings there for you guys, and obviously we have our special guest Michael Hascup on the show, so we want to get him on here as soon as possible. So why don't we get it over to Michael Hascup on this episode?
Yeah, let's we can get it over there. I think he's desperately waiting over there to get onto the podcast. We've been holding him for too long, so let's bring him in.
All right, everybody, we've got a very special guest on this episode of That Scuffed Up. We have our man from the Trash Pandas, Michael Hascup, big bomb hitter and pretty long tenured player now in OC Wiffle Ball. Also learning how to pitch a little bit more as well on his team, the Trash Pandas. Played them in the World Series. Actually knocked us out a couple seasons ago in the summer in the regular divisional game. He joins us now. How are we doing, Michael?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I think we've been trying to get you a few times on here
Yeah.
with the podcast, so I'm glad we're able to get you fixated on here. We're just going to ask you a few questions about maybe how you got into wiffle ball, about your team a little bit more in depth, and the guys you've got. Obviously, you guys have burst onto the scene now because, you guys have been a playoff contender for some time now. Obviously, starting off with that summer season, of course, and we've seen you guys really develop into this really big monster of a team. So let's talk about that a little bit. Steven, how are you feeling about this interview?
It's a good one. We kind of did a similar thing when we had PJ on the podcast before. I not only get this, it's kind of boring when you just have us here constantly talking to us about us winning and being in the World Series. You want to have someone that's brand new into the World Series and in their second season has made it in there. So good to have more people around. Also share the fact that Michael was at Westcliff before, and then I'm currently at Westcliff right now. So I know that. It's something we had worked out in the past, but like the timing, never seemed like it worked out too well. But this seemed like a real good week to get this one done.
Certainly. So yeah, this is actually pretty ironic now that I think about it. We get these World Series loser interviews on here for whatever reason, but
Hey,
started off with
gotta do
PJ.
it like that.
Started off with PJ Gordon. I guess we're getting Michael Hascup. Sorry, Michael. Didn't mean to put you in that position, but I guess here we are. Well, let me ask you, Michael. You guys have been here for 2 seasons now. There was an interesting story throughout the first season you guys joined, but how did you guys feel about the World Series overall and being able to have your guys' first appearance ever in a new world where we have divisions now in the OC Orange County Wiffle Ball League?
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. Honestly, the playoffs were really exciting for us. We were going into the playoffs just kind of whatever happens, and let's ride it. And we did pretty well. We came out pretty hot that first day. Was able to win the wild card, and we actually swept the divisional series, which was awesome because that's a really good team over there that we were playing. And we ran into you guys, unfortunately, in the finals. There, our rival here. We're always playing you guys tough, but you guys got us pretty good there. So, but it was a great experience overall.
You guys were playing a pretty tough opponent, and you guys actually managed to sweep them in that series as well. To our chagrin, because we thought it would be more of a 3-game series per predictions that we were having. So it was pretty interesting that you guys were able to sweep that strong team that has been there. Obviously, they're not with us this season. Hopefully, they do come back because they're a big part of why this league has really gone forward. But I guess we've ran into each other a few times on both sides, and I guess you can kind of say this is basically a rivalry now, especially when it really started throwing things off in that divisional game. I want to backtrack to that divisional game in particular, actually, and how big of a moment that was for you guys, and what was the thought process like as you guys were? I mean, you guys made the first playoff appearance. You guys won your first playoff appearance, to the surprise of the champions of the spring season. So what were the thoughts about that season overall?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was a lot of fun. That was our first year, and getting out there and kind of learning how to play a different style of wiffle ball, I guess you could say, than we were used to. And you guys were the first team we ever played, and you guys crushed us that first game. So we knew what we were up against in that first game, and it was a super low scoring game. It was back and forth, and we just happened to come out on top on that. And so that was definitely like a good bait out there on the fishing line to keep us coming back, because we love competing, and it's always fun to play you guys. So it was definitely a cool moment for us.
Certainly so, and you guys have been close quite a few times now. Now you guys managed to make the World Series. Obviously, you had to play us once again in the playoffs, so that was a different story. But it was nice, being able to bounce back after, your team beat us that summer season as well. That was definitely a tough pill for us to swallow, but always a good time when you guys are out there and we're playing each other. Obviously, you have some really great players out there. I mean, Mo Wright comes out there with the big muscles, the big biceps every single time. I know he hasn't been there for a few games already now, but he's also been absent a few times as well. But he's also a big piece of that team as well. Looks like he always wears a medium-sized shirt rather than the regular shirt that he's supposed to wear.
Let me tell you, don't be fooled. Those are extra larges. So.
Yeah.
I think we need to get him like an OC Wiffle Ball XXXL shirt to make it at least look like it works, right?
No, he needs the tank top just to show off even more.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe one where like it goes up to like where his belly button is, and it's just like it doesn't look like it fits whatsoever.
Okay,
just to show off the abs there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Purple League, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Well, there was a story the first season you guys came in. I don't know how much you know about it, but it was dealing with your guys' team and Angel Hernandez Strike Zone. I know if you know Ryan Lavelle obviously is a big person of the show as well. There was questions about that middle season, that first season you guys had, of maybe a merger at the end of that season. But then all of a sudden, you guys were winning games, and then that conversation apparently dissipated into the air. Do you know anything about that at all, or any thoughts about that whole process?
So I got to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this thing you're referring to. I know Ryan and Blake were having some conversations, maybe behind the scenes, but I honestly I don't know anything about this. So I know that we were basically like the New York Giants that first season. We were tanking there that first half, and we got lucky. We turned it around pretty quick, but yeah, I don't know much about that.
So instead of the 49ers, you guys kind of, or sorry, not the 49ers, the Giants. You guys went from the Giants to basically the 49ers, like found Brock Purdy, made a playoff push, went pretty far. Obviously, it had a misstep against a pretty tough team that eventually would win the World Series title, if I'm correct on that. But you guys are a very tough team to play against. Obviously, you're one of the bigger bats on that team. You had a really big season during the summer as well. You're a pretty athletic dude as well. I'm sure you look like you're flying all over the field every time we play you guys. You and some of the other dudes, I know Steven knows those stolen home runs a lot. He's seen that plenty of times. But what's your background? And tell us a little bit more about that story, about your life and I guess how athletically built you are.
Yeah, I mean, we like to have a lot of fun in the outfield. I played baseball in college. I played at Irvine Valley and then Westcliff, like Steven said. So me and Steven played at actually both those schools. So it's different times. So pretty cool. But yeah, we got Ryan, who's Andrew's brother. He just joined last season, and that was a big addition to our outfield. He's super athletic dude. He didn't play football in high school, but he actually tried to walk on to the Oregon football team as a kicker. And he almost made it. He was pretty close. He's a pretty athletic dude too. And Blake played at USD or UCSD as well. So we got a lot of baseball dudes out there. Andrew and Brian both played in high school, and Mo's still playing men's league, hitting tanks. So everyone's got a big baseball background out there. So we enjoy moving around, making some plays in the infield and outfield for sure.
For sure you do. And I have a bunch of those clips of those catches that he's had out there. And I've seen him kick a few times too. I know that story a little bit, that he got very, very close. Like basically almost to the point where he would have been on a team, and then they decided to knock him off of there for whatever reason and went with a different guy. Obviously with that, how that went. So being a part of this league now, was that actually your guys' first taste of wiffle ball, or for you in particular, was that your first taste of wiffle ball, or have you had wiffle ball before in your life?
So it's funny enough, me and Brian and Andrew and Ryan, we grew up playing wiffle ball in Andrew's backyard. We've known each other. I've known Brian since we were 5 years old, and I've known the Swansons since we were like 8 or 9 years old. So we've been playing, honestly, we played all the way up through college and everything, just when everyone was home from school. But we always played with the Louisville Slugger black bat. Mm. And then we played with a little different ball as well that moved a little different. So Andrew found the league and he was like, hey, we should try this out. And we were all obviously down, but definitely a different style of wiffle ball. When we saw, I think Steven was probably the first pitcher we faced. When we saw him pitching, it was like, wow, this is going to be tough for sure. Because especially, you know what, I'm going to be honest. Everything else, it is what it is. But when you got these guys throwing these screwballs like that, it is tough, man. I've never seen baseballs move like that in real life. So it was definitely an adjustment period for us. But we got a long background in wiffle ball in general.
You guys are slowly figuring it out too. I know, some of the guys like Mo Wright in his respective sense, and Swanson. They're figuring that out as well. Blake Fitzgerald also has had some really good pitching wise, and you guys seem like you're figuring it out. You're talking about Steven and how good he's pitching. I'm sure you've seen Dustin a few times. There's also another
Dustin's
guy.
Our kryptonite, man. We cannot hit that guy at all.
Have you guys had a chance to face James Lee yet?
He's got some pretty nasty stuff for sure. That I don't know if it's like a 12-6 or whatever. That's a new one for us for sure. That's a tough one.
100% is. The dude is only in high school, and the way he throws that ball, I'm sure a lot of people would love to watch him all day.
He's a sophomore in high school.
Yeah. And his
Crazy,
body
man.
stature does not say baseball player either, which is insanity.
Yeah, he's got the stuff for sure.
For sure. Well, I'll let Steven take over a little bit if he's got any questions for you at all. Take it away.
Let me bring this back on point a little bit. Now, I'll kind of go a little bit more of an order. We talked about how you guys found out about the league. Going into that first game, you did just kind of get me through kind of what you were thinking. Just going that first game, which actually before you, let me give a little backstory to that. We had just lost the first game of the day. We played Beach City Bombers in the summer. We lost 4-2, in which my team, I had 3 hits and no one else on our team had a hit in that game. So I was a little frustrated at that point and kind of wanted to make sure we just start hitting the ball and once we got the second inning, we kind of started to figure things out and everyone remembered how to hit again and things like that. So we had obviously at that point that was our first week of playing again after winning our first World Series, but. What was that experience for you, kind of getting that first game out of the belts and maybe not the best fashion for you?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely an eye-opener for us. I mean, me and Andrew especially, whenever we played wiffle ball growing up, we always hit opposite way. We always hit lefty. And so we were so used to that. And I think I hit lefty once or twice in that first game, and it was like, wow, like, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. I got to hit righty, So... Yeah, that was definitely an eye-opening experience, and also how hard it was for us to throw a strike. Like, we could not throw strikes at all in the beginning, so that was really tough for us for sure. But we knew as soon as we got that first one, we were like, wow, we're going to have to get a lot better at this if we want to compete. So it was definitely a good experience in the long run for us.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys did have a little bit of struggle in the beginning. I believe at one point you might have been 1-6, and I think you might have been last place in the regular season. But then you guys kick it on at the end of the regular season. It seemed like Mo really started learning the pitches, and Blake was still getting there. And then you guys ended up sneaking into that 6th seed. What was kind of that switch for you guys to go from 1-6 to, I think you guys might have finished like 7-7, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Mo came in clutch, figuring out how to pitch. I mean, I think at first we didn't even know Mo really wanted to pitch, and then he told us, hey, like, I've been trying some things on the side, like, let me give it a try. And when he went out there, it was really good. We were like, wow, like, let's keep running with this guy, So Mo was doing it, and then Blake was right behind him. Blake was starting to learn the same things, so that was really helpful for us. But I think when we were through that point in the season, we were like, hey, we got nothing to lose. We just need to learn how to pitch at this point. So we were just kind of going to ride that wave, and Mo helped us out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I mean, you guys clearly had the offense. I saw that right. I saw that right away. Even in that very first game we played. I mean, I'd say once you guys figured out the hitting, the pitching, you guys would be right there. So you guys end up getting that 6th seed in your first season, which making the playoffs in your first season is always a very good is a very nice thing to do, especially with the way this league is now. You come up and face us again. You know, I don't know. That might have been a little bit while ago for you, but what were your kind of? It all happened really quickly because I think you guys played at 6:30 and 7:30, and then all of a sudden you had an 8:30 playoff game. Was it just kind of that same mindset? We got nothing to lose. Let's go out there and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, those 2 games before were regular season games, and I think we had to win those games. So we were kind of just like locked in, and we were like, hey, I mean, we got some bonus baseball. We're going to go out and we're going to, do the best we can. Because I think I hadn't played you guys since that first game where you guys crushed us, since going into that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were like, hey, you know what? We've gotten a lot better. Let's see how we match up this time. And, obviously it was very, very close, and we were able to come out on top for there. So that was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's big for a new team to be able to take down the defending champions, and be able to get a big victory like that. And I mean, we talked about it between me and Justin on the podcast before. It was one of those. It was one of those. It was a combination of you guys came out and you guys had a big 2-run home run in the 5th inning to tie it up. I think it was a combination of you guys coming out and being ready to play, staying hot from your first 2 games, and us just coming out a little cold, not ready to go. I had 8 guys there for the first time that whole year. It was one of those I kind of wasn't sure who was and who wasn't going to be there until like the very last minutes. Like for example, Jordan. I didn't know until about 7:45 that he was going to be there. I thought he was going to be gone in Big Bear and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna talk about Ethan anymore with that one play he pushed the ball fast for a single. But we talked about that enough in the past. But obviously you guys did a great job. We could not hit off of Blake or Mo at all in that game. I think we had 1 solo home run. I think I had an RBI triple, but you guys come up with a big win. But then you got to go face another team, the Beach City Bombers. Just that first playoff win. How did you feel about that? How did you guys feel about that overall?
I mean, we were stoked. I mean, in our eyes, we weren't expecting to win the World Series that first year or anything like that. So a win in the playoffs was definitely a win overall for us on the season, so we were definitely really excited.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys didn't have to face the Beach City Bombers that next Monday. I believe you guys got, if I'm not mistaken, you guys got swept. I believe both games were pretty close. What was that series kind of like for you guys in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, those Tyler and Zach, man, they were a nasty 1-2 punch, and they got us pretty good there on the mound. I think both games. We might have had 1 or 2 runs the first game, but second game, I don't even know if we got a hit. I'm not going to lie. So they were lights out that year, and they got us pretty good for sure. So, but we were happy for them. We like them a lot, and we've had a lot of conversations with them. So we were kind of telling them, go win that World Series, man,
Yeah, and that they did. It's still a very successful season for you guys, going from the 12 seed to the 6 seed in a few weeks, and making it, and then upsetting a 3 seed is always a great thing to see. Kick it now into the fall season. You have the introduction of divisions. You guys were one of those like 4 set teams that we said we're not going to let them play down in Division 2. Pretty much all the other teams they were kind of given the option if they wanted to, but with you guys' impressive ending, it was clear that you guys were here to compete and stay. But overall, you guys didn't have the best regular season in the fall. You guys did finish in the 4th seed, but you only finished with a 5-7 record. Did you feel much of a difference, kind of playing that better competition more often in the fall season versus that summer season where you can play anybody at any time?
Oh, I mean, honestly, absolutely. I mean, for me personally, um, I was cold most of the season with the bat. Like that was tough. It was a lot more really good pitchers almost every single game, and it was tough because I'm always trying to hit the long ball, and it was kind of towards the end. I kind of figured out, hey, I'm just going to go for the singles here. Like we just need to get some base runners, but definitely an adjustment process. But facing the better pitchers, it helps you get better a lot faster. So that was cool, and we were able to kind of figure it out towards the end, just enough to get us into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I never had it. I personally never had in doubt you guys will make the playoffs, but it did get a little interesting there at the end. So you guys finished with that. You guys finished with that 4 seed. You get that home advantage in the first round playing against the Avocabros, a team who you had just beat 19-8 the previous week, the last week of the regular season, I should say. Um, did that game give you confidence to go win that first playoff game?
I mean, we've played the Avocabros quite a few times, and the one thing about them, they can swing it, man. They hit really well. So we knew we still had to, bring our A game, and they hit really well every time. So we knew it was going to be a tough matchup, but we were confident just in the fact that we knew that we beat them in the past, so we could do it again.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't have an. I've still never figured out an exact score for that game, but from what I heard, it was kind of similar to the previous week. But then you guys get the big one. You guys get the Purple Huskies, a series that we both predicted you guys to win that first game. But then we both predicted that Purple Huskies would win that in three games. We thought it was a 3-game series regardless. You know, what did it kind of take to be able to get over the hump, and especially to hold a team like that to very little runs? I think they scored 3 runs combined in both games.
Yeah, I mean they were the 1 seed for a reason. I mean they're a really good team, and they had probably the two best pitchers that season there. So we knew that it was going to be really tough. And I think what really helped us a lot was just, for me personally, I hate walking in wiffle ball. Like I just hate it. I know it's great for the team, but I want to hit, and I think a lot of our guys are like that. But we were able to kind of put that aside against them and say, hey, if we want to win, like we gotta try to take all these tough pitches and see if we can put the ones that are there in play. And we were able to do that. And I mean, we were able to hold them off. They're really good at offense as well. So I think that first game we were able to put a lot of runs up in 1 inning, so we were able to kind of have a little cushion. But that second game was really close with them, so it was definitely a nail biter at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little side. Which one do you think you and your team enjoyed more, getting that first playoff win in the summer season, or being able to make that World Series in your second season?
Oh, I mean, we love all the playoff wins, obviously, but I think being able to go to the World Series was definitely a step up for us. We were excited to have a little bit of more improvement from the first season, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, once again, you guys come in and play us. We had split our regular season series. You guys beat us in week 2, and then we beat you in week 5 or something like that. So it'd been a little while since we played. What were you guys thinking coming into the series? Was there anything specific, or is it just because just like, hey, we're here, might as well just keep playing the way we've played?
Yeah, I mean that's usually what we have going in. I mean, we love playing you guys a little more. I think just because we always feel like it's super competitive when we play you guys, and that's what we all play for. So we knew that we beat you guys in the past. We knew you got us in the past too. So we knew it was going to be a tight matchup for sure. And unfortunately, we just came up short. But it was a good series, and we're definitely hoping to maybe see you guys back there this season. We'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. So that first game, I believe it was an 11-3 game. Did you guys feel confident you could be able to continue doing well going into game 2 and make a comeback?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just kind of let's just flush the first game. That was not our best for sure. We just wanted to try to. We felt if we could win the second game, we definitely have a chance. But unfortunately, we were just on it. We coughed up that lead there at the end. We gave up some key hits to you guys, and definitely some walks as well. And you guys brought in the closer, man. You brought in Dustin. It was tough for us at the end there, but you guys got us, man. So hopefully we'll get you back here in the near future.
We shall see. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention. You did lead up right away first inning of the World Series. You did lead off with a 2-run homer to put you guys up 2-0 right away in the top of the first inning. I should say great job for that as well. I can't remember any other hits off the top any other home runs from you off the top of my head, but I'm. That's still a little blurry, and it feels like forever ago since that happened for me. So, no, absolutely, congratulations to you guys for making it to that World Series. But now going to this season, with a couple teams leaving and things like that, you guys are kind of being put up there as that number 1 or number 2 team in the league right now. And you guys are off to a great start. You guys are 4-1 if I'm not mistaken. The standings have not been updated, so I might have to take a quick look at it. I think you guys are.
I think we're
5-1.
5-1.
Yeah. You've had 2 doubleheaders so far. Like I said, as we're recording this, unfortunately, the standings and the stat sheets aren't updated for week 3, so. We're having to do some stuff on our own, but we did play each other in the second week, and your one loss did come against us. What started off as a very close game, but I do want to talk about one specific play, and Justin, please mark this down so you can put the video in there this time. Right at the end of the game. There's some loser in a spacesuit on the mound pitching, with 2 outs, and Michael Hascup drills one up the middle, goes off of Justin's leg, which I'll let Justin talk about that in a minute. But I want to get your reaction from that first, Michael. What did you think of that? That way of the game.
Well, first of all, it was already a long day at the plate for me. I don't know if you put the. Says it all at the end. I was just like, man, can't catch a break, but man, I put that spacesuit on and you cannot see anything. So the fact that you were able to 1, throw a strike, and 2, just stop that ball, I got to tip my cap on that one,
It seemed to help us. It seemed to help us pitching. It seemed like he threw more strikes then than he did normally. But I'll let you talk about it now.
It makes no sense. I don't know. I just it's like when you are blindfolded and they say use your senses to just pick a direction and just swing. Like if you're swinging a piñata, I said okay. I have a sense of direction, so I know that there's a plate here, or not the plate, the mound there. So I just look straight, and then I'm like, okay, now I throw that way the entire time. So that was kind of what I was thinking throughout that moment. And you're right. When you put that visor down and you're breathing inside of that thing, it's like you can't. It fogs up so fast. Like it fogs up within 5 seconds. So I'm telling you, and this is the truth. Like I can't see shit throughout inside that visor. So I am literally just throwing this thing, and I'm guessing what happened is that this ball went up the middle and hit off the very baggy pants that I had with that suit, and I guess it captured it like a fishnet, and so I just heard the bat go off, and I was like, all right, well, I guess somebody just got a hit. So, and then I take out the visor, I'm looking around like, okay, what happened? And they're like, you stopped the ball. And I'm like, huh? And they're like, lift your feet. I'm like, oh, there's a ball there. So, no idea that happened. I guess just magically happened, and somehow the pitching was actually working out in that game, which usually doesn't happen throughout the season. So that was very nice. Thank you very much, Michael, for that.
Also, I think we need to mention this too. If I'm not mistaken, I think you were wearing the helmet and you got a hit against me as well. So you got me on both ends of this. So, man, I'm gonna hope next time we play, you're not wearing the spacesuit for my sake, for sure.
If we play in the World Series,
you all of a sudden started hitting better. You might have to wear the spacesuit more often.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I know. I guess I have to bring that to the World Series if we play again.
Or at least just
Yeah.
the helmet.
Yeah, yeah, just a helmet. That's true. Just the helmet, right? So if I swing at it, it'll make a hit. Again, like it could barely see out of that thing. So I saw this pitch, and I was just like, I'm just swing. Like I don't care. I'm gonna just swing at it. Somehow, just got one like right up the middle. So. Yeah, I guess the helmet has some magical ability that I don't understand. So I guess I'll have to consider bringing that out again someday, in case we're in like a
Definitely.
trouble spot, you know.
It's the rally helmet, man. You gotta own it. Gotta embrace it.
Pretty much just a rally helmet at this point. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
the pepper shaker for some time, so I guess now we have to bring out the spacesuit helmet to help atone for our horrible offense at times. But obviously, that's a different story this season. But yeah, no idea how that stance of events kind of just folded together. Well, Michael, let me ask you some personal questions just a little bit here so we get to know you a little bit more. I see you've got New York Giants, Angels banners up in the back behind you as we're looking at this. I don't know, what's that third one on the left there?
It's a spring training from the Cactus League.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been to spring training almost every year of my life, and so that's something, the staple I got to have hanging up in there. I love going out there every March and watching my Angels. I got to watch my Angels play.
So that's something you enjoy doing every spring then, like as a general trip to go out there and check that out?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much since I was maybe 3 or 4, I was fortunate enough to have my parents taking me out there, and then obviously, as I got into high school and college, it was kind of tough to go. But this year was my first year kind of back. We ended up going to spring training and caught a World Baseball Classic game while we were out there. So that was a lot of fun this year for sure.
Oh, wow. Okay. It must have been pretty nice to check that out as well. See a World Baseball Classic game. I'm guessing that was Arizona.
Yeah, and I got to, one of my life goals, I want to see every stadium. So I got to check off Chase Field. I hadn't been there yet, so that was definitely a fun trip.
Pretty sweet stadium. They also, obviously, they had a World Series being hosted there as well this year. You guys, so let me ask you about the Angels exactly. How hard has
Oh,
it been
no.
to watch them, and what are your reactions about Ron Washington?
Well, first of all, I love the Angels. They're my favorite team in the world, but they really make me cry sometimes. This year they just ripped my heart out this year. I thought, June, July, we were looking pretty good, but we always seem to hit a wall there in the middle of summer. So this year was tough, but Ron Washington, I'm really excited about. He's someone that I wanted kind of since the beginning, since they started mentioning his name. He's obviously got a lot of experience, and I think he brings a different vibe to the Angels because we've had a lot of new managers, and he's got all that experience. He's going to bring some other guys with some experience with them, and hopefully change the culture, change the vibe, the attitude for the team. So hopefully, I mean, I'd love to keep Shohei. I don't know what the chances of that are, but we keep Shohei, maybe get a starting pitcher. We'll see. I think we're there. Even without Shohei, if we get pitching, I think our hitting's good enough that we could compete. We'll see.
I feel like that's just been the one issue, is just the pitching year in, year out. Usually how it's been. Obviously, they haven't announced the pitching coach yet, well, unless they already have, and I don't know about that. But obviously, hopefully we don't do the same thing as we did with John Madden, getting rid of him pretty fast, chasing him out of town before he could show us his cool mohawk and whatnot. So hopefully, he hopefully does change that.
Hold up. I want to expose Justin a little bit here. You wanted that guy fired right then and there. I'm just gonna put.
Whoa!
You wanted him gone, and I told you it's gonna be the worst mistake, and you said no. I want him gone. He's not doing anything. Yeah, okay. Look how he regrets it.
So yeah, I do kind of regret that as well. It's kind of the same thing when you're talking about like Aaron Rodgers, like the Packers. Obviously, they struggled last season. You want to put blame in something. Obviously, it's not the right thing to do. I did blame Aaron Rodgers a little bit for that season last year. And I think that's rightfully so. And the Angels that year, I think it was just a lot of anger. So it was just kind of at that point, just like, we need to get rid of somebody and fix the culture or whatnot. Obviously, that was an extremely poor decision because we got Phil Nevin. Great guy, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he understands. And I don't know because I'm not a manager, but obviously something didn't go right the last couple seasons for that team to really go, this way down the road. So those. I made a misstep there in misjudging that John Madden would actually be a great. Could have been like very good if we didn't let him go, because he was definitely trying to set up a different culture, especially setting up the farm system and everything. And then the Mohawk too and everything like that. So big mistake there, and hopefully we don't make the same one with Ron Washington. I don't make a misstep on Ron Washington as we get through to this next season. So
I tried to put that out there.
I thank you for that. So
he's keeping tabs. He's keeping tabs.
He's keeping tabs on everybody, man. You listen to all the podcasts that we have on here. He's got tabs on everybody, so you watch your back, dude.
I gotta be careful what I'm saying on here now.
If you're an Angels fan, how did you become a Giants fan?
Yeah, so my dad is from New Jersey. He lived there most of his life before coming here, and I inherited the Giants. We had some great times when I was younger, and we've had some tough times the last 5 or 6 years, including this year. But he was a Yankees fan. I was able to convert him to an Angels fan, so we just stuck Angels and Giants. So got a cool little backstory with that.
Well, yeah, I kind of want to know about that a little bit more. How did you manage to get your dad to convert to from a Yankees fan to an Angels fan during this era?
Yeah, it's real tough. When I was very young, the Angels were, they won that World Series. I think I was about 5 or 6 years old. I remember watching with my dad, and it was just a cool time. It was a magical time when I fell in love with baseball, and I think my dad was kind of appreciating that more hometown feel that the Angels have. And, the Yankees have always been that big city kind of front runner team. And I think he grew to like the Angels just at the same time I did. But listen, there is some pictures out there when I was a kid wearing a Yankees hat. Not proud of it, but they're out there. They're out there.
Keep those tabs, Steve. We might need those later.
For sure.
Let me get back on track a little bit more now with the wiffle ball stuff. You guys are now in the middle of this season right now. Obviously, you guys are winning more games. You guys have some more success. You guys have also missed a few guys a few times this season. Obviously, Morai has not been there a few times. But what it's... Obviously, you're not the manager, but I'd like to know what your guys' team expectations are for this season and what you guys want to do beyond this point.
Yeah, I mean, we love playing in the league, and I mean, we've gotten a little better each season. So I mean, it's only up from where we were there. Where our goal is to win the World Series this year, obviously. Hopefully, try to improve there this season, but definitely need to kind of work on our attendance. We've been struggling with that a little bit. We missed Mo a couple times, and then I don't want to name names, but we missed Brian on that Halloween game against you guys. So Brian, I hope you're watching. Hope you're keeping tabs, because I'm keeping tabs on that. So hopefully we'll be more of a full squad the rest of the season, and maybe make a deep run. We'll see.
Definitely. So I'm guessing. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, you guys are off to a very good start right now. You guys are off to a 5-1 start. You have a good run differential as well, which I don't know because the standings aren't updated, unfortunately. But you guys are off to a really good start. It was just that those last 2 innings versus us has really been the only downside to your season so far. But if that's the only downside, then you guys are having a really good start to the season. You can see and you've already matched your win total from the regular season in the fall, so we'll see how you guys are able to keep that up.
Yeah, definitely. Also, while we're here, I just want to shout out Blake this season. this man is hitting so many home runs. I don't know what the total is. It's got to be like 10 or 11 so far. I think he's going for that record or something because he is not slowing down. He's hitting them homers.
Yeah. Well, these are based off of week 2. He's got a 450 average, 522 on base percentage. Has 5 home runs after week 2. I'm not sure how many he has right now, but I know the league leader was Tyler Moore. Through 2 weeks, he had 9 home runs.
Wow.
But then again, he also played us last week, and we held their team to 0 runs, which we talked a little bit about earlier about in the breakdown of all the games earlier. But Andrew might be. Sorry, not Andrew. Blake might be right up there. Actually, I do want to ask you a little bit about Blake. Previously it started off with you being the main pitcher. I mean that first game, I think you pitched the first 4 innings against us, and then as things have kind of gone on, Mo picked things up pitching wise towards the end of that summer season, and then from that fall season on, Blake's really been kicking on and really been one of the better pitchers in the league. Have you seen or heard stuff about how he's really stepped up as a pitcher for you guys, or what do you think he spends a lot of time working on this stuff?
Honestly, Blake's been huge for us. He's gotten so much better and continues to get so much better at pitching. And he's really, last season he did a really good job there pitching. He had a really high strikeout total. Seems like he's always learning a new pitch. I mean, he's adding a new pitch. It seems like every half season he's got a new pitch, and he's done a really good job with it. Honestly, I don't know how much he's working on it on the side. I think he's just going out there and letting it rip. He learned a lot from Mo in the beginning, and then he kind of put his own spin on it. And yeah, he's been killing it out there. He's been huge for us.
Yeah, and that's how you do. Sometimes you just got to test stuff to see if it's going to work or not. That's at least what I try to do personally with all my stuff. Just trying to figure out which one of my 12 pitches I'm going to try being more consistent with.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to share those secrets out there, because I know there's some viewers that would watch. I think the next episode of the podcast, you can show us a couple of grips. We'll see.
No, we there's been a little discussion about doing a pitching tutorial with me, but yeah, I do have some trade secrets that I may or may not share at some point. So basically, how I get my screwball to work. So we'll see that could be a possibility where. The screwball is still a relatively new pitch in this league, and really, I mean, that pitch is kind of the hardest one to hit. And really, outside of guys like me and my team and James Lee, and then you had Dylan was able to throw it good. You really don't have a lot of guys to be able to throw it because it's just so difficult with the style of ball. It's not as easy to control as you talked about earlier when. With you growing up, you play a little bit more difficult. You probably rubbed it a bit on the concrete or the street, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, we used to use. I think they're the skills balls, is what they're called.
Oh yeah.
They're like half black, half yellow. They got holes. They move a little bit, but nothing like these for sure. I mean, we could only throw some sliders and curveballs with those. Definitely no screwballs like that. So those were definitely. Still a work in progress for us hitting those.
Yeah, there might be something out to help you guys out with that. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be fun for sure.
Well, I wanted to mention a little bit, about Blake a little bit. Obviously, he was second place in a lot of different categories. He was basically your guys' top pitcher on the innings pitch side. Second most strikeouts at 79. Had the fifth lowest ERA in the league at 4.93. Obviously was a big part of that. And then I guess he's also chasing your fellow teammates' record from last season, who was Ryan Swanson with 15, the most in the entire Division I in that aspect. So I guess he's got a lot of baseball experience. I just looked him up just to see if there's a picture of him from his baseball days. There's a pretty nice one up there. Good looking guy on picture.
All right, chill out there. Chill out there. But excited, Justin. Is all right.
But obviously, that's your guy right there, and obviously, we'll help you guys get to the promised land for sure.
Also, I got to put this out there. Anthony, if you're listening, we need a Gold Glove award in this league next season because Ryan Swanson, man, guy's different out there. I'm telling you, he's different.
That might be a possibility. There's actually some discussion about possibly having that in the past. So maybe it's something that could get brought up. We'll see.
We're probably going to need to use video evidence because we don't obviously keep track of
it's very hard to
defensive
keep
stats.
track of defensive stats.
So we would need. I mean, we have video. I have video of him already. Like I've been sending the ones from the weeks ago when we had the Halloween games, and obviously had the one-handed grabber, and then had a couple of other ones as well. And yeah, I know we've seen that guy have some really big plays out there, and he's also a big part of the reason why you guys always win games because you guys have defense. Like yourself, you look like a track runner out there chasing down like maybe some of the farthest home runs I've ever seen, and then just managing to get there, not even like diving for it, but just like in stride too. So defense is definitely a theme for your guys' team as well. At least that's what we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of fun out there, and Ryan makes some crazy diving catches, and Brian actually brings a lot from his catching background into the infield, and he's blocking all those wiffle balls down there. So that's also super helpful in the infield as well, because every time I step in the infield, it's not pretty, boys. It's not good.
It's just some people are better in the outfield, some people are better in the infield. It's just the way it is sometimes.
Definitely.
Oh man.
Well, you guys have been in here for 2 seasons now. From what you guys have seen throughout the league, and obviously transitioning to divisions, having to play bigger competition and all that, is there anything you guys really particularly like about the league that you guys have kind of seen?
Yeah, I mean, we love just the idea of it in general, and that kind of opportunity to just go out and compete. That's something we really like doing. And I mean, there's not a whole lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of softball leagues out there and stuff, but a lot of people don't always take those super seriously. So it's nice to have a lot of other teams that they love playing and take it pretty seriously. So it's a good time, and we love coming out. Obviously, we love all the nuances and all the different teams, and give us a run for our money. So it's been a lot of fun, but I think in the future we'll see. Maybe we'll get a left-handers team in there or something. We're all hitting opposites just for some fun. See if we can maybe break into D2 with our left-handers team. We'll see.
It could be a Purple League team right there even.
Yeah. We'll bring some lady trash pandas out there and make a run for it.
There we go. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Michael, in that sense, I wanted to ask you, obviously your guys' unit as a team, you guys like to have a lot of fun, and obviously wiffle has been a big thing. Have you guys ever considered maybe playing in like a higher level competition, like maybe a faster speed? I know Steven and I have played in tournaments like the Upland tournaments where they throw those wiffle balls almost over 90s if you get far enough in those tournaments. And then obviously there's other leagues out there that have their own tournaments with maybe a slower pitch, but they inquire base running and all that. Obviously Steven has played in the United Whiffs tournament. That's another big one. But have you guys ever considered maybe going a step farther if you guys wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd have quite a bit of fun with some different nuances in there, maybe some faster pitching I'm a big fan of the base running. I like the base running aspect of it, but we're all about OC wiffle ball. We love the league, and I'm sure maybe if the opportunity presented itself, maybe we'd play a tournament or something like that. But I mean, the time works out great for us. Tuesday night's great for us. I know not everybody on our team can usually do weekend stuff, so it's just overall it's been a fun league, and it's something we enjoy coming to every Tuesday for sure.
Well, hopefully we get to see this rivalry continue to go throughout the future and the rest of the seasons that are to come, as long as this league stays around, So, Steven, if you got nothing else, I think we can let Michael off the hook here and get him out of here.
I think we're all good. I know we appreciate you. Appreciate you having you on. Finally got it to work out, and we'll see how things shake out the rest of the season. Got a lot of season left.
Definitely appreciate you guys having me on, and we'll see you this week, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. We'll see you later, and we'll see you on the playing field.
All right, have a good one, fellas.
Thank you, sir. Well, once again, thank you to Michael Hascup for being on the show. Always great time when we have guests on these shows, and love to get those stories out there to the people of who's playing in the league and whose story is the most intriguing as well. We've had some great guests on the show. Michael Hascup has been a friend of ours for some time now. Always fun to play against our team, including the Trash Pandas as well. But it looks like we're getting to the end of our program here, Steven. Unless you've got something else, I think we are ready to put this one to an end on episode 31.
No, I'm about good here. Thanks for him for coming on and talking about a lot of football stuff. There's very much a story of they started on the bottom, they worked their way up, and now they're near the top. So not quite at the top though, as you can see my World Series trophy over there in the background. So
damn,
we had to do it to them. So but thanks to him for coming on. We I should say. As Justin is leaving the show for a couple weeks, you're stuck with me and only me. So
yeah,
things are about to get real serious in here.
So that's another announcement. So I'll be gone in Thailand for the next week, but I will be leaving this Friday as we're recording this, and I won't be back till the following late Sunday night. So I won't be able to do 2 episodes in that case because we'll be gone before this weekend, and then obviously coming back Sunday night will be a hassle to try to put things together. Have to get right back into school stuff, and obviously jet lag is going to be a factor. Don't know how that's going to work out.
Wah.
Yeah. But yes, you guys will be stuck with Steven's face for those 2 episodes. I am excited to see what he has in the works and what he'll post on there. And this will be your host for the next 2 weeks.
Should be good. It's always good when you have me around. Actually, it's not, but we make it work.
No, we like listening to you talk about yourself all the time.
That's just what I do best.
There we go. Well,
it's not actually what I do best. So.
2-time MVP back to back. No,
2-time World Series winner. 9. We can keep. No, never mind.
Well, yes, so you guys will have him for the next 2 episodes, episode 32 and 33, respectively. But yes, for now, I will see you guys in about 2 episodes or so, and obviously we'll see you guys this Tuesday. But Steven will be taking over for a little bit. But I think that's it for this one for episode 31. Myself, Justin Lee, and Steven Hayden, co-hosts of the That's Scuffed Up podcast. If you don't follow the Orange County Wiffle Ball Instagram, go ahead and follow those, including the Hunky Door Sports Show Instagram, to get all the updates on when these episodes come out if you are a big fan. And as always, thank you for watching this episode and watching the past ones and the future ones coming up here, and we will see you guys in I won't see you in episode 32.
Yep, see you guys.